The amount of wealth held by Houston's leading citizens, many of whom own those palatial spreads in River Oaks, is correspondingly staggering. Find yourself stuck in traffic during rush hour on one of Houston's 10-lane freeways, and you'll notice the many luxury cars, most of them foreign, not just Cadillacs and Lexuses, but BMWs and Benzes, Volvos and Saabs, and what seems to be an endless supply of Mercedes SUVs. There is money aplenty in this town, its leading citizens truly the masters of Houston's universe. Their world, the world of power and privilege, lies at the very heart of downtown Houston. Anchored by a 15-block section of Louisiana Street, this area of skyscrapers, many designed by the late Philip Johnson, or I.M. Pei, is dense with corporate and legal power. On the eastern edge rises the baseball stadium, Minute Maid Park, the former Enron Field, where the Astros play, and where former President and Mrs. George H.W. Bush attend as guests of the owners. The Bushes, of course, sit behind home plate. In the midst of downtown, at 1111 Louisiana Street, stands one Reliant Plaza, home of Reliant Energy. Reliant is the nexus where the energy business, the downtown law firms, and the Republican Party come together. Executives at Reliant, which sprang from a rich dinosaur, the former Houston Lighting and Power, a traditional electric company, prospered wildly from the 2000 California energy crisis. Eventually, Reliant came close to failing, but unlike Enron, never went into bankruptcy. Across the parking lot from Reliant Energy is One Shell Plaza. Its occupants? The powerful Baker Botts law firm and Shell Oil, the American refining subsidiary of Royal Dutch Shell, a company that recorded a record $5.28 billion in profits in 2006 alone. 4 blocks to the south stands what remains of Enron, the corrupt heart of the downtown. Dynegy Corporation, Enron's great and hated rival in the energy trading business, is just across the street. It was here, in downtown Houston, a world inscribed by the energy companies and the law firms that service them, in the social whirl of Rice University just a few dozen blocks away on Main Street, and in the schools, clubs, churches, banks, real estate agencies, and restaurants, that the operatives of the Texas Republican Party went hunting for money and power in the 1990s, both of which they found in unprecedented amounts. Once they leveraged Houston, they could get the whole state. It was here, and in the Texas State House in Austin, that the representatives of George W. Bush, not the least of whom was Karl Rove, the younger Bush's brain, worked out in Texas the outline for what they intended to do to the country as a whole, if only they could first make George W. Bush governor and then president. Yet for a complete accounting of Houston's symbols and institutions of power, one would have to take a short cab ride from downtown to a quieter corner of the Rice campus where, astride a marshy plain, sits a perfect little jewel box of a building, the James A. Baker III Institute for Public Policy. Much of the work of the so-called Baker Commission, the 10-member bipartisan Iraq Study Group, ISG, quietly took place here over many months last year. Here, too, that recommendations in the ISG's report, The Way Forward, were put to paper. For much of 2006, the little-known but highly influential Baker Institute was a beehive of activity, where policymakers met to contemplate not so much the way forward, but the way out of Iraq. The Baker Institute is, after all, not an Institute for Policy Studies, but an Institute for Policy, which suggests something rather different, a center for affirmative, hands-on policy engendering work, the Texas-style antithesis to an East Coast Ivy League approach. Consider the Baker Institute's advisory board. The membership includes a former secretary